Hello everyone, this is PKL Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're quickly going to talk about Morbius and its opening weekend at the box office, and whether its performance defied its critics and detractors, and what this means going forward for Sony's supposed universe surrounding Spider-Man's villains. Now, Morbius was of course a standalone movie based on the character, the same name, wanting to cure himself of a lethal blood disease, and in attempting to do so, incurs both the superpowers and the bloodlust of vampirism. Jared Leto was in the lead role alongside the likes of Matt Smith and Tyrese Gibson. So in its opening weekend, Morbius managed to gross 39 million within its first week of box office in US cinemas, alongside an overall worldwide total of 84 million. So in consideration of the negative reviews and a supposed outrage over the end credit scenes of the film and a lack of connectivity towards the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think this is a decent take, even if people will refer to the fact that there were certain expectations of around 40 to 55 million. The film has just come short of those, but for a standalone movie about Morbius, if you remember, that nobody was really asking for, I think this is a good take for the film overall. So how much will it end up grossing in terms of its worldwide box office? Right now, I'd probably say it's probably looking at around 200 to 300 million. Probably similar in terms of the performance that we saw with Birds of Prey when that was released a couple of years ago. I think Sony was probably hoping for at least 400 million worldwide, but we'll probably expect to see now quite a steep drop off in the second and third weekend due to the negative reviews and bad word of mouth. In terms of the US, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is the next big release in the following week, so that will take a lot of the shine away from Morbius. So we can definitely expect to see, I would say, at least a 50, maybe a 60% drop from the opening weekend. So will the performance of Morbius give Sony pause for thought for their supposed Spider-Man universe or Sony universe, whatever you want to call it? Of course, this was propelled by the mega success of the first Venom movie from 2018 and the very strong success of its sequel, Venom Let There Be Carnage, which was released in 2021. Now, of course, we all know that Sony has movies in the pipeline for both Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web, but will they worry now that those films won't succeed the way they want them to following the current performance of Morbius and the fact that it hasn't quite hit their expectations overall? Will we see a far more aggressive tactic in terms of the marketing for both Kraven and Madam Web? Will we see much more of the inclusion of connections to the MCU for these films? Again, there was very little or no demand for a standalone Kraven movie or a standalone Madam Web movie, so Sony is really going to have to ramp up the intensity in terms of how this shared universe is going to take shape. Will we see any further connections to Venom or Eddie Brock in terms of these films? I just feel they're going to have to do something to make people really want to see these films. It's very unlikely that we will see some reference in terms of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but we do have to remember by the time that these films are released, the MCU will be very much deep into its multiverse, splitting multi-avenues for different appearances of characters. So by that stage, maybe they will be able to include the involvement of Spider-Man for these films overall, but they're definitely going to have to do something to drive up the hype for those films in the future. So in terms of the universe, if both Kraven and Madam Web underperform, will it reinforce Sony's agreement with Marvel to continue sharing Spider-Man? As once again, it will underline the fact that, minus the MCU, Sony won't be able to produce high quality or high successful films without the association of Marvel. So I just think until they manage to generate another big box office success, it's in their best interest to keep sharing the character with the MCU right now until we see something happen later on down the line. But in terms of Morbius, as I said before, I think it was a decent take. We will wait and see how it performs in its second and third week. Again, I'm looking at overall a 300 million take, but it may surprise us or it may indeed underperform in its second and third weekend. We will wait and see and find out. So in other noteworthy news, we look at the Batman now, which has now crossed 710 million worldwide. In what is overall, I believe, its fifth week of release, and it's managed to gross 349 domestically within the US. So a very good performance domestically. I think it'll probably fall short of hitting 400 million, but without doubt, this is a success. Now, I know there's been a lot of debate, particularly online, about the fact that this won't make a billion, but I've said multiple times in my videos surrounding the Batman that because of its relatively low budget, it didn't need to make a billion. It just had to be a big success, convince audiences that this was a Batman that was worth their investment in the long term. And I definitely think that it's managed to achieve it. So overall, I think we're still looking at what I estimated it would take overall, anything from around 800 to 850 million. It may just fall short of that. I think perhaps maybe 800 million. And the reason for that is because within a week or so, it is due to be streaming on HBO Max. So if this was, of course, take away any lasting potential of theatrical gross, many people have already made the conscious decision to wait for it to appear on streaming rather than go to the cinema. So again, it brings up the debate about the 45-day window and how it hurts the box office in terms of these big releases. So despite the fact that it won't make $1 billion, I still believe overall that the Batman has been a big box office success for Warner Brothers. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review on the recent box office performance of Morbius in its first weekend within cinemas. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe this is a failure, or do you believe it has been a success, particularly for a standalone Morbius film that nobody was asking for? Or do you think this will cause further revision for Sony in terms of where they take their own Sony universe? Let me know what you think in the comments. Please also hit those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.